Yo, we live, brother. Yo, 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 yo. It is another episode of the Weekend Rhyme. We are back at it again. It's your boy RKY, aka Prime. That is Leroy Green. We're here, brother. We're here. We're having some technical difficulties tonight. We're trying something new for our audience. Got some new software. We're gonna be streaming in 4K, you know, 4K. We're trying to update our algorithm a little bit. But anyway, what's going on, brother? How was the weekend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm trying to get the technicalities out the way. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's kind of different, but I'm good though. Watch the Tyson thing like everybody else. You know, um, just chilling, man. Got into some new music, Cordae, uh, Dave East, which I really did enjoy. We'll get into that, but I'm multitasking right now, so pardon me out there. You know what I mean? It seemed like I'm doing a lot. But what up?
No doubt. No, but I just got back from Philadelphia, man. And I got to say, Philadelphia is a dope city. I got a chance to kick it with the people. I was there for Thursday night football, Eagles versus Commanders, the Washington football team. And
Yeah,
Philly was a dope vibe, man. It was a dope
love
vibe.
Philly.
It was a dope vibe. The people were cool. The food was good. It was a good look. It was a good look, man. But everybody talking about everybody, everybody's talking about the same thing. Let's just jump right to it. Let's jump
What's
right
that?
to it. Everybody saw the fight last night. You know, I
Yeah.
got I got home in time for the fight. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. It was what it was. Netflix first ever combat sport live. You know, a lot of people had problems with the streams. A lot of people said it was buffering going in and out. But
Uh,
I enjoyed the fight, man. I was telling my wife that it was like, I remember seeing his first fight in 1988. Not his first fight, but the first fight I saw was against him and
right.
Michael Spinks. And I never would have thought all these years later I'd be watching Mike fight with my two sons. So that was crazy. That was a surreal moment. You know what I mean? But it was a fight, man.
Yeah.
I thought what we saw was not so much the fight, was the future of combat sports. You know, being on Netflix, um, that setup, that whole operation. I think
Mm.
that's what the purpose of it was, to kind of get combat sports into the future. But it was good. And I don't yeah, Mike did have his cheeks out. I don't know why they did that to the brother, you know. I don't know why.
Yeah. That was a lot.
I don't know why they did that to the brother, man. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a good situation, you know. What did you think of what did you think of the fight?
I mean, I had a lot going on, but I eventually did tune in to watch it because, how could I not? It was a lot. Everybody was watching it, so I'm watching it. I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson. I grew up in that era, come from, the era everybody runs to see a Mike Tyson fight. We all sit in front of the TV. I'm from that era, right? However, you know what I mean? Sometimes the father time is undefeated. When I saw him come out, kind of the stance he was in, the punches he wasn't throwing, what he was doing, and I already thought this before he came out, but the man is too up in age to be out there like that. Now I get it. The world wants to see what the world wants to see. I get it. I understand the whole dynamics of everything, but it's like, I'm not gonna force something. If I'm 60, if I'm 58, I'm not going to try to spar with someone I'm twice the age of. My son is got a little bit of height on me. I'm not boxing him, period, because I will lose. Like, that's it. Just is what it is. Like, so when you get up in age, you're not gonna be able to do all that. You know what I mean? Period.
No
So
doubt, no doubt. Well, Mike, for a lot of people that were detracting, I saw a lot of people saying that it was like it was a money grab. It was
yeah.
sad to watch. You know, it had a lot of overtones with it. You know, but
Okay. Yeah.
this is what Mike said about after the fight. He said, "This is one of the situations when you lost but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June. Had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my
Right.
blood, and was 25 pounds in the hospital. I had to fight to get healthy to fight. So I won. To have my children see me stand toe to toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboys stadium is an experience that no man has the right to ask for. Thank you. Prayers. Hey, I get it, man. I
Okay.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I mean, it felt surreal for me to watch the fight with my sons after seeing him in 1988 fight Michael Spinks.
Right.
So I can imagine how the fighter must, how he felt, you know, coming full circle one last time on Netflix, making history in streaming, you know, with combat sports, with Netflix, fighting somebody half his age. I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. The fights beforehand with the two ladies that were going at it,
Oh,
you
it
know,
was
that
banging. They was banging.
yeah,
Serrano, and
that
Taylor. They was banging. It was
that was
banging.
real. That was real. But like I said, you know, today I'm obviously going to talk about music because that's the bag I'm in. I also was going to talk about a little bit of Hollywood and symbolism. Captain America's coming back out, you know, with Falcon playing Captain America, Anthony Mackie. But in regards to that in the fight last night, America deals in symbolism. We've had a whole bunch of talks about that. We've had talks about the Illuminati. We've had talks about the music industry, entertainment. Period. From that, if you want to look at it from that conspiratorial angle, well, then you have to understand symbolism and how it's used in entertainment. When you see Mike Tyson up against Jake Paul and they're doing that, it's not just a fight. It's also they're using symbology against you. You know what I mean? To show you one side is here now, and the rest of y'all have been moved out the way.
Well, let's
But
get into that. Let's get into that because the symbolism
yeah,
because because in boxing, I'm not going to act
yeah,
naive to the fact that there's always been symbolism in boxing, right? From Jack Johnson
right.
back in the day when they passed certain laws because Jack Johnson was had a thing for white females and he was knocking
Mhm.
out people of the other race and they didn't like that was Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano. Rocky, the symbolism of Rocky going against Apollo Creed, you know, the Italian
Right,
stallion versus the American dream. Then you had Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, and those undertones that were in that fight. It's always been the black fighter, the white fighter. It's always been a
right.
selling point in the promotion of boxing, right? From Mexican fighters, you know, fighting, black fighters, or Mexican fighters fighting white fighters. You had Ricky Hatton. I think he fought Manny Pacquiao, and he fought Floyd. So you always had that element in it, but I saw this as maybe more of a generational thing, right? I didn't see it more of a racial thing. I saw it as more of a Gen X, which is Mike Tyson versus uh, Gen Z
Right.
type of fight, right? A generation that spanned, decades. I thought it was more of a generation. The streaming streaming era, social media era, with Jake Paul being a social media star on YouTube
Mhm.
from the old school HBO pay-per-view era, right? The YouTube era versus the HBO era. So I saw it more of a as a uh as a dichotomy between that as opposed to
Right.
I mean, and there's other elements was there, but I think it was more so the age thing that kind of resonated with me.
And I see that angle as well. Also, I'm seeing the same fight that you saw, but as far as like let's say the training, right? If you're seeing Mike kind of moving in a way that it doesn't appear that he's able to do this. Well, we all see this too. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like at that point, you just it doesn't look right. Now, as far as the racial component is concerned, I think race plays a role in everything that happens in America. When we talk about politics, in my view, until somebody shows me otherwise, politics is very racial, very racialized, and very about black or white. Until somebody shows me different, then we'll have a different conversation. However, um, that's just my view. The fight itself. Hold on, the fight itself, as far as like what you were saying, like an age gap, a generational gap. Yeah, that too, and it looks like at the end of the fight, one guy threw double as many punches or three times the punches as Mike Tyson did. Correct? Or
Correct.
double the punches. So that's one thing to look at. The other thing to look at, like I said, is his is his stance, his legs, how he was moving around. He had no business in there, right? So, in my view, psychologically, when I talk about symbology, you're going to feel a way seeing Mike Tyson, your childhood, the boxing boogeyman of your childhood, being looked at in this way, in this light, because your real mind knows that it's not it's not that serious. It's just a sport. The symbology in your mind just sees one guy getting beat up by the other guy, and it just is. It has other ramifications in our collective mind. You know what I
Right,
mean? If
but I
people
did.
can understand that,
I got you, but I think again, I think the respect that Jake Paul showed, and I'm gonna show the
I
picture
get it.
again. That kind
I get
of
it.
deconstructs the myth that it was all. It doesn't not deconstruct it. I won't say that because there is some element that still remains, but it takes away because he could have put Mike out in round 3. He could have put Mike
Mhm.
out in round 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I think he
Oh,
didn't do it
okay.
out of respect. Now, if he was on that type of time, you know what I'm saying, and wanted to send a message to certain groups or certain people with that ideology, he could have taken the legend out, but he didn't do that. He showed respect. Again, he bowed to the man. You know what I'm saying? He was effusive in praise. I think, it's always been a component in boxing, right? But I think last night,
Yeah.
I think it was more generational.
I mean, yeah, I hear that argument, and again, people are not or people are are not gonna make the connection with race, right? Because in their mind, they think we have gotten past that. Um, but our generation, like the one before and one before it, they've had these same thoughts. And then when we go back later and people research the history, they're seeing how race always was a component. So I don't think that's gonna change. The fight is one thing. I just watched the fight. Don't really have too many thoughts on that. But the reason why I also brought up the Captain America thing, just like I could bring up the Gladiator 2 thing with Denzel's latest statement about that. But certain characters play us as a role. Falcon and Captain America is us as a people personified in a role. The Red Hulk, Harrison Ford's character, he plays the president, is the counter to us, personified in that role. Now, whether people see that or not, I'll let you decide. But when they're using certain certain animals, certain phrasing of positions and situations, I mean, it's all there in front of you. You know what I mean? It's
So
all
what
there.
did you so what did you see in the Captain America trailer? Because I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I can't really speak on it. I think I saw parts of it. I did see Red Hulk. I did see Anthony
Right.
Mackie in the suit. I did watch the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show on Disney Plus. What did you see? What
Right.
elements did you see in the trailer?
Okay, so just in general, I see it's Captain America, right? And now you're having Anthony Mackie's he's Falcon playing Captain America. Falcon is a certain symbology and symbolism, which means certain things in history. All right, that's the high a black man or black society in his highest self is symbologized by is symbology to the Falcon. If you
Okay.
go back far enough, right? So Falcon, but it's like so that's one angle. But when you have when people go to see Captain America expecting to see a different person, and then they see Anthony Mackie, of course that racializes what's happening. So within the story now, that's going to be in the back of their mind. Now to them, now again, we've always fought against a certain whitewashing. Well, that is in reverse when you're dealing with Hollywood and they look at us coming in to take over their roles. They don't understand that we was never really at the top of that anyway. We was never in control of that. We never ran that. They don't understand that. They think that we are coming in to take over their stuff. So that the movie kind of backs that up. Now again, whether people see these things that I see or not, you just go down your own rabbit holes of information, of mythology, of symbology, of Hollywood, of storytelling, and you tell me what's there. You know what I mean? But that's what again, if you have an enemy, just like in politics, people pick a side. That means the other side is the enemy, right? If we have our side, then we must understand that there must be another side. It's not all of us on one side and we're all agree in America. That's not the case. If we have this side, there must be another side. Well, what is that other side against? They have to have a reason. What are they fighting for? What are they fighting about? Why are they, you know what I mean? So when you watch these movies, certain things are uncovered like that. The reason why Hollywood does it, I'm talking about a certain people that believe in conspiratorial ideas, Illuminati and such not. The reason why they use symbology is to also make people aware of some things, to also set shields and protections in front of other things, but it also works on energy too. If I'm letting one side know that I see them trying to rise up, then I'm going to put something out there to let them know I see it. And also, that's going to diffuse the karma of me doing something negative. Because the way I diffuse the karma is I let them know that what I was up to in the movie.
Right.
Now
I got
that I just said a lot, but
you did, you
hey,
did, you did. It reminded me of an old television show. It was a news show one day, and it was a reporter. There was a guy named Professor Minister Professor Truth Minister Scott was his name, right?
okay,
And
okay,
he was talking about how Christmas, he's dreaming of a black Christmas, he was at Christmas and the holidays have racial components, and the host was like, "Sir, why can't you just enjoy the holidays? Why can't so I want to? Why can't you just enjoy the holidays like everybody else?" So I want to ask you, Lee, why can't we just enjoy the movie? Why can't we just enjoy the movie? I'm not saying what you're saying is
right.
invalid, but I
I
think
think that. Go
well, let
ahead.
me finish
Go
real
ahead.
quick. I think that this was explained. I think if you have you seen the Winter Soldier and Captain Falcon show on Disney Plus?
Not the show, but I saw the
They
movie.
kind of explain some of the things that you talked about, right? How black people in the military were treated. You know how the original Captain America was actually black. They performed experiments on him, and they wanted to put out the other Captain America because of so a lot of the things that you alluded to. The show did depict that, and I think they've been building in this Marvel universe for a while. The transition of Captain America being Steve Rogers to this new Captain America, the Falcon, right? And you also have War Machine, which is played by originally played by Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle.
I got
So a
you.
lot of what you're saying is true, but I think the audience now will accept what it is. I think people and one of the things that make me say that is when Black Panther came out. I remember walking around the neighborhoods and seeing kids that didn't look like my children and dressed up as Black Panther, right? So I think there's still gonna be elements of these things and people not being comfortable with seeing certain imagery, but I think we are shifting, and I think there is progress being made in that regard where I've actually seen it with my own eyes, children, dressing up like T'Challa. Even though I've got problems with that movie as well, and we can always pick apart different things. But I think we're moving in a different direction, although there's some elements still remain. So I just
I
wanted to say
mean, the movie's called Captain America: A Brave New World. So if y'all get what they're saying, a brave new. Have y'all read the book, A Brave New World? That's what
I
I'm
have not.
saying. It's
I
like
have not. I have
that's
not.
what I'm saying. And if you broke that down, right, it's about the the European, the white man, and his struggle to maintain resources while they're running low, and a lot of other people are coming in. So it's like they'll throw everything they can throw at you to let you know what they're up. Since people want to go that route, I kind of strayed away from that route. But since people kept bringing it up on the show, like certain conspiratorial, well, I can go there. I'm versed in that universe too. Sorry, I'm multitasking right now, trying to get a surprise for y'all. I'm trying to get a I'm trying to get a surprise for y'all on the show, right? But I can multitask and talk about a number of things. Some things will never go away. I know that we think that we have moved past a racialized America. Now, is there ways to move past that? Yes. I believe that starts in honesty, right? You would have to be honest. Like, here, America, let me really be honest about the history, the system, etc. Now, I don't think that honesty is coming because for them to put that on the table, this is what really happened. This is the circumstances of what really goes on. That level of honesty would kind of be shocking, but that's how you get past it because after you've shared that, people then know. They know what it is and they know where people stand.
But I think people already know what it is. I mean, who's not being? I mean,
True.
who doesn't know what's going on? Who doesn't know?
How could you? Like how you can't we can't know what's going on because you've never been who gave you that information the wealth of information that you would have to have access to is so vast for you to figure out what's going on that it would be ridiculous. Now, the reason why they're not sharing it with you is because like again, like I mentioned the Brave New World, right? The title or the book you would have to know about, but there's a bunch of things that you have to know about because they fear that their side will grow up with a guilt over what happened, a certain, or it will trigger some type of anger or trigger some type of resentment. But I'm saying the truth though may do the opposite. It may trigger empathy. It may trigger equality. It may trigger understanding, but they don't see it that way. Did they see it as, if we keep telling a certain story of America, it's going to make one side seem like they were the privileged side and the other side seem like they've always had a foot on their neck. Well, so that they're looking to just erase that period, right? But the reason why that story, that the truth has to come out all the way is because then when you get past that, you have to ask, well, who were these people before they got here? And this is another topic which if I get, I'm going to ask a guest about hopefully tonight. But where I'm getting at, right, is like if you go before America, where did these people come from? Well, then you start discuss other things. I think that will inspire. That will inspire not just black people, it will inspire white folks. It will inspire Asian folks. It will inspire Indian folks because now they're getting their true sense of self, history, and purpose in this world, and that's what, in my view, is not being taught. You know?
Interesting, man. It's a very interesting concept. I think it's a little bit.
Yes.
I think it's a little bit complex. It's a challenge, right? It's a complex thing. Of I think what we need to do is we need to teach our children in our home these different things, and I think it's incumbent upon all parents from all different backgrounds to teach their children the things that need to be taught in history, and don't rely on the school system to do that for them, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
right.
just interesting, but I do think that we have made some progress, and I hate to be that person, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think 2024 is not the same as 1964. It's not the same as 1974. It's not the same as 1984. It's not the same as 1994. Not the same as 2004, 2014.
Um,
I just don't think it's the same. And I think a lot of people
to
get
to
lost. I think you can't. I think we can't say that. I think to say that we are in the same condition that our ancestors were in 1964 is not the truth. Now, some things
I
remain the
think we're
same.
I think it's the same because the reason why I think it's the same is because every time there's a progress made, the door has to kind of be kicked open or forced open. It's not that the door was open out of an understanding of humanity. A door had to be pushed and forced open in order to get the progression. So if I keep having to see that every generation, that lets me know that the resistance there is telling me things haven't changed. Because if things have changed, there would not be a resistance happening. Well, there's a resistance every time we make a progress. There is a resistance in the movie. Coming, there's a good guy and a bad guy. If there was a change, it would be a good guy and a situation that's bad, not a bad guy. But every time there's a resistance, it lets me know that there's someone on the other side pushing back, pushing back. What are you pushing? What are you pushing back, pushing me back for? If I want my story to be told accurately, because now you got black people saying they're not African. You got Trick Daddy, I'm not African. Now, again, he has a right to say what he wants. However, I think DNA and I think phenotype, I think would prove otherwise. But when you have someone pushing that hard against themselves, it's for a reason. It's because that's all they know. That's all they know. You know what I
No,
mean? And it's
well,
that's
well,
the
I
resistance.
I think there's a movement saying that people are trying to tap into an American identity, right? Because certain other groups don't walk around saying, "Well, I'm Irish," or "I'm Scottish," or "I'm." Well, you do. I'm Italian. You have some elements that do that, right? Or I'm German. Some people just tap in, like, I was born in America and I'm an American. I'm an American citizen. It happens to be black, or happens to be white, or happens to be
You
Asian.
didn't have, yeah, you didn't happen. There's a reason why you're
But
here.
that's and there's a movement from with Tariq Nasheed saying, called Foundational Black Americans, saying that we don't they don't have a monopoly on what being an American is, because our ancestors helped build this country, helped create it, help found it, created
Right.
the infrastructure of the company, and they don't want to leave that monopoly of being American, that American identity, just to another group of people. So there's a movement going on, whether it's, agree with
Okay.
it or not, saying that we're American too. We're Black Americans, yeah, right? That and our
I,
and
I don't
having
know what
pride,
American is.
and having pride in people that built this country. Like my great grandfather built the rail. He worked on the railroads. So a lot of the railroads that are in the South, he was a railroad worker, right? Um, Having pride in that American creation, right? So that's what some movements are saying, is that
Yeah,
people are American.
they shouldn't be saying that. They shouldn't be saying that. And Tariq Nasheed, he knows better. That's what kind of makes it more like, why are you being this way when I know that because I know that Africa don't hate us like that. Africans don't hate us like that. That you were told that by a system that doesn't tell you that they infiltrate the ideas of people. They don't tell you that. But you know for a fact, Tariq Nasheed, that Africa and Africans do not hate us. You know that. Now, second, if I'm now, I keep hearing a different explanation on what an American is. If there's something called an American, then we should have one definition. Being that people are giving me 10 different definitions, I don't think y'all know what an American is. Now, granted, I'm African American in my view, right? Not because I coined the term, because that's what it says on my license, right? So if I say I'm African American and I identify with both, what's the problem? Right? If I identify with Africa for particular reasons, does that mean that I erase my American heritage? Of course not. So, what are we actually fighting? We're fighting because we don't want to be identified with the losing side of warfare, which would be Africa. They lost war against invaders. We don't want to identify with the losers of war, right? So, and now people could say, well, no, that's not it. But in my view, but again, I think we take too much power off the table by not identifying. Just like when hip hop stop identifying with culture, with African pride, with African symbology. Why would you take those tools off your own table if you're expressing a art of war? And I don't mean physical war, I mean art of war of art, hip-hop art. Why would you take certain things off the table? The matter of the fact is, if you did your DNA, you would probably go back to Africa. When you went back to where they told you were from, you would then check out the phenotypes of your bones and blood in your body would probably be the same as the blood and bones in the bodies that you were identified with. So are we going to argue science? We
No,
don't like that's
I
not a
think
smart idea.
I don't think people are arguing science. I think people are arguing identity. Like when I was in Italy, right? That it blew my mind. Well, two things happened, right? When we got back to America, we flew back into Atlanta. People started, like, they gave a round of applause when they landed in America. Like people that weren't from America, like they gave like an ovation because they were happy to be in America. When I was in Rome, somebody walked up to me and said, "You're an American." That was the first time that happened. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, "Oh, you're black, you're an African American." In the And that happened several times when I was in Europe. they say you're an American, right? So that kind
Right.
of shifted my mind, like, okay. And I asked somebody, so we don't look at it like Africa. We look at it as a Canadian, Japanese, and he said we can just tell the way you speak, the way you dress, that you're an American. And that kind of opened my eyes. And I get the argument where people are saying that there shouldn't be a monopoly on patriotism and being an American. You can still understand historic roots of where we come from and our people and our history, the diaspora, all throughout our transition here in America. There were some people that existed in America that looked like us that were not enslaved, and then there was slaves, and there was Jim Crow, there was civil rights, there was post Reconstruction, then there
Right.
was
Right. But
all the way up to Obama. So but I think the key argument
even
is
amid
that they
those
just don't have a monopoly on patriotism, and it's okay to tap in to what an American is. That's the argument that they're making. I'm not making the argument. I'm just
yeah,
the
that's
messenger.
not a good argument. That's not a good argument because I hear what you're saying, and when we use the term that we're American, I'm not fighting y'all on that because I'm American. There's another side though, to where I go into another town and I say, hey, if I go in the middle of America and I say, hey, I'm American, they're gonna say, no, you're not. Period. There's nothing about you that's American. Period. And we're both going to be on American soil. I'm American, they're American. They're going to tell me you are not an American, sir. So again, I hear what we're saying because we feel a certain way. And what I'm saying doesn't negate that or take away from that. But when we say American, we're just saying we're from the land of America. That's all that's really being said there. But just know there's a whole other side to that, to where you will never be American to their in their eyes, no matter how where your grandfather was, your great great grandfather was, whoever, you will never be American to them ever. So, but one thing we can prove is that our lineage goes back. Now, truthfully, we're global, but we were all over the globe. If you want to get into an anthropological argument, right, or evolutionary argument, whatever you want to do, okay, we were all over the globe. But if we're talking about culture, and we think that our culture is just coming from here, I think we need to investigate that. You know what I mean? We think our culture just comes from here and it didn't come from other places in the world before it got here. I think we need to investigate that. Now, yeah, I know people would be like, well, what does this have to do with music? Everything is connected, y'all.
Yeah,
Everything is
yeah. We
connected.
we had a deep discussion last week. People were saying, but they didn't want more of that. I know T2 Judgment Day is a hater. He doesn't like us, but he still watches. Appreciate you, man. You watching us makes it makes my day. You can your comments make my day too. So it all works, brother. So whether you think
Yeah,
we're the A
we're gonna get
team or
into music.
the Timu team, that's great, man. We appreciate you watching. It all goes the same, brother. So we appreciate it. But anyway, but people like these deep conversations, man. They like us going on the periphery of hip hop because it all connects, right? The music is the music, and
We
even in
should
the lyrics and the songs, there's a tapestry of history within the discussion. So I think it's good. I think it's good.
we we should start connecting dots. The reason why I talk about movies sometimes, or I'll talk about politics, or I'll talk about whatever else is going on, is because we should start making connections in the music, because literally rappers are rapping about this. If you're listening to their lyrics, they're rapping about what we're discussing. Not most of the time, but you could kind of hear links in their rhymes. So everything, it connects, y'all. It connects. You know what I mean? It
Uh,
connects.
let
Go
me get to
ahead.
the super chat real quick. I'm trying to display it real quick. We have a new system that we're using, and hold on. Let me try to trying to play it. Hold on one second. Super chat. Let me see. Sorry about this, guys. We got a new system. Super chat.
Yeah,
G Road says nobody identifies as African, Jamaican, Haitian, Brazilian, Dominican, so on and so forth. We built America. We don't care what they say. Hey, and that's what I think the argument is, right? You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Nobody distinguishes it, right? They say I'm Jamaican or I'm Haitian or I'm Trinidadian or I'm from Saint
yeah,
Verde.
yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So why are we the only ones that have to attribute the African, you know, qualifier to our name. You know what I'm saying?
I
Why was that done? Right? Was it done to make us another? Was it done to segregate us mentally? Why are we the only ones that have to be identified like that? Right? Why is it not Irish American or German American, or why is that not on the license on the people's driver's license? Why is it African American? Why can't it just be American or Black American or whatever the case may be? Interesting
are
point.
we sure we want to just completely give up Africa? Now we've given up about 99% of it already just because we don't want to even deal with it. Are we sure we want to totally just erase Africa from our consciousness? Would that be a good idea? Do you know the kind of power you're leaving on the table? If all the other races, they'll never give up their homeland. Period. They rather just go out before they ever do that, because there's power in that. Now, it's not a good idea to give that up. I'm just letting y'all know that we done given up. Now, the pushback. You want to be American so bad. I understand, and you are. You identifying with legacy and ancestry from history does not take away your American history. So it's still there. There's nothing that can be said that would take that away. But you're fighting. You don't want to be identified as anything African, so you don't want to be identified as everything that comes with that too. Because again, I said when I first got here, I said, well, what is Black culture? Since we talk about it so much, I got no answer to what that is. I said, well, first of all, Black culture, mathematics, architecture, reading and writing, several some. These are things we don't discuss as our culture, but it is. It is. Why is that our culture? Is because that's the African component. That's the African American part. Originally I had the background to the Dead Prez album. The first song starts off, I'm an African. But anyway, this is a new system, so that I don't got the background tonight. But we shouldn't leave Africa on the table. That's a bad move. Just like
Nah,
when hip hop left out the African medallions, left out the African pride, left out the red, black, and green flag, we left out extreme chess moves on the table that could have won us a lot.
I get that, but I think I'm more so. Everybody approaches it differently, but I'm gonna tap into this America, like Cowboy Carter, like Beyonce. I'm gonna tap into the Americana, Black Americana, American
Yeah,
ideal, because we're owed it, and we helped established it, and we're part of the history and part of the future
yeah,
of it. And I don't, that's all we know. So most of us know, and that's okay. It's okay. I think it's
yeah.
okay. I think it's a break, and it's
I'm
okay
not.
to have your ideology, and it's okay for someone to say, Trick Daddy, say, look, this is who I am.
I got it.
I'm a Black American. My people were born on this soil, and this is all I know. And
What
I'm
I'm
and
saying
I'm
is
gonna
not
rep that.
ideology. I'm saying if Trick Daddy did DNA, I'm telling his literal DNA will tell him will back my argument up. That's what I'm saying. So when he continues to talk, now he's talking against science. That's not what we do as a people. Trust me, we don't want to go against science. We will lose that battle. We will lose that battle. So again, I'm not taking away Trick Daddy's Americanness. That's what he's not going to understand. I'm never going to say you're not from Florida, sir. You are from Florida. I get that. But when you keep fighting a certain, and there's been several arguments made that are just inaccurate that I've heard this week. But science, the blood and bones in your body, you're not going to be able to argue with that once that gets looked at. It's going to be a fact. So let's not go against science, y'all, because that's not a good idea. And we don't come from that. We come from the people that created science. And what they created was, okay, if science says something, if science says 1 + 1 is 2, then it's 2. Because science means you've done the testing.
Right, right,
Hear you though.
right. All right. Well, we're gonna have to have another conversation with this. We're gonna have Tariq Nasheed on again, and Leroy. We can have that conversation with him, because I think a lot of what he's saying gets misconstrued, gets misinterpreted. So we'll have him on again, and we'll talk about what
Yeah.
FBA means, and what
Help
what
me understand.
what the relationship is because he has a lot of different views about it. He says, when he went over to Africa, people weren't, receptive and
He knows better. He knows better
well,
than I
that's his
know.
that's his experience though, Leo. I can't say he knows better than
I
that. That's
can
his
guarantee that
experience.
there is no place on the planet that there's not haters. There is a hater in every part, every corner of the planet. I can guarantee you that. So when he tries to make it where the hating is just coming from Africa, brother, no. Haters live everywhere. They live everywhere. But that don't mean that people don't love you too, though. There's people in the same cities where haters live. There's people that love y'all too. And you got to know that. You got to know that. You got to know that we could go over there and create business, come back over here and triple, quadruple our money over here. But since we've never tried that, and other people know that they go back to their homeland, start a business there, bring that money back over here, double it, quadruple it. We don't play them type of games because they know they could. They know they can do that. We don't do that. You got your 10 grand over here is 10 grand. 10 grand over there is something else. You could really make some plays. But you know what I mean? And bring that back here and start some type of trade. And now you just doubling, 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 doubling. Other people know that. Indians know that. Chinese people know that. You know what I mean? But we don't know that. So we're taking some major things off the table. We got to stop doing that, man. Stop doing it.
No doubt, no doubt. It's interesting. We'll have part two. Let's get into some music. Cordae,
Do
drop
it.
drop Crossroads. Somebody text me. Who is this? Drop Crossroads.
Right.
I had a chance to check out a couple of the joints. What did you think of the album?
Well, I'm listening and I'm kind of watching the Tyson thing at the same time, so I'm doing a lot. But when I think people should put this record on tomorrow. I think they should put two albums on tomorrow. This one we're going to talk about first, right? So the vibe. I just got caught with the vibe. The vibe, I know a lot of y'all are Kanye West fans. Kanye West, the sound of his aesthetic musically, the how he raps, his delivery, and what he does musically. If you're a fan of Kanye West, then when you hear this Cordae album, you can kind of hear some parallels. And Kanye West, he also has a hook on the album too. The hook was a little offbeat, but it is what it is. Anyway, but the vibe of the soul samples, the music is there. First song is about his mother's musical dreams, which weren't realized, and he's picking up that torch, and he's done that. The next song, Back on the Road, Wayne went crazy. Wayne is on this album twice. Little Wayne, barring up. He's going crazy. He's barring up. So he did that twice. Summer drop or what was it? Summer drop or wait till the summer drops, right? With Anderson Paak, dope. Nothing's personal. The first song on Late Registration. What's the name of that song again, y'all? Um,
Yo, Leroy, we got a special guest in the building. Blue just tapped in with us, man.
okay, I'm gonna get back to Cordae. Hold on.
We'll get back to that. Let's get back to what's up, Blue. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. We
Yeah,
can hear you, man. We can hear you, man. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Just chilling, man. Good to be here, man. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. We doing
great
good, man.
man.
We doing our thing, man. We bless.
I hear
Yes,
that.
sir.
Come on.
Blue, man. A pleasure for you to be here. We're on a new system right now. I can hear you, but I don't see you. But I
Oh,
but
okay,
I
let
hear
me
you.
see.
I got you. I'll put you on the screen, so we good.
Yeah. This but
But go ahead, Leroy.
fire.
But ask your questions, brother. Ask your questions to Blue. Well, we got them on.
No doubt. No doubt. So yeah, first let me just say thank you for being here, brother. I gotta call you
Oh
Professor
man.
Blue. You know what I mean?
Very nice. Yeah, yeah. Shout
Yeah,
out to Pendulum Inc.
yeah. That's why I gotta call you Professor. I got the hat on. That's why I gotta call you Professor. But you have been working this year, my
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oh yeah. This is the year, man. Come on, we cooking up.
You have been working, and I gotta applaud that.
Thank
So how is it? You got the new album, Love the Ominous World. I think we
Yes,
need some
sir.
love now. You
Say it
know,
again.
you got the new album, Love the Ominous World.
Yes.
I think we need some love right now. As you may have heard before you got on, we be talking politics too. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, very nice, man. That's what's up. What was y'all chopping it up about?
Well, I mean, well, I'm gonna jump around questions here, right? And you've always had an optimistic sound and approach to your music. It's what I really appreciate about your music, my guy. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man, yeah, that's man, that's my main message right there, man. As you can see in the new title, Love the Ominous World.
Yeah,
Also the title Below the Heavens, the subtitle Below the Heavens, in Hell, Happy with Your New Imaginary Friends, Blue in Exile. That's
yes,
also promoting optimism as well, you know what I mean? Staying optimistic in the face of, and I had an EP with my man Fate called Open Your Optics to Optimism. You know what I mean?
that's
So
right.
I stay on that, I stay preaching that message, man.
Yeah, no, and that's appreciated. And I appreciate you letting them know that the title to Below the Heavens was actually a longer title. You know that you know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
more
yeah. A
yeah,
lot of
you
my
know,
releases have like a longer title. I just, you know what I
yeah.
mean, keep it short for the, publications and everything, make it easier on everybody.
Yeah, right, right. So we're gonna get into the album real quick, but just real quick, how has it been being back on the road with Exile and just being back out there performing your music? Like, cause I know you've been touring. How's that been, my guy?
Oh man, it's a blessing to be back on the road, man. You know what I mean? We haven't been on the East Coast since the pandemic. So getting out there to Chicago, Minneapolis, New York, you know what I mean, Baltimore, that shit was dope, man. Jersey, you know what I mean? Yeah, it
Yeah,
was out there, man.
yeah,
I
that's
love
dope. I said that's dope. And I'm familiar with you. A lot of your the era I came up when it came up in the blog era a little bit before that. I was real familiar with your music. I have some homies. One a co-host of the show is not so familiar. He's not here tonight, but I just want to
Okay.
give people. Yeah, I want to give people some background because I'm familiar, but some people may not be. Now, the
Uh,
classic album you came in with, Below the Heavens, that's a classic. That's not
boom.
even debatable. Okay.
That's what I like to hear, man.
That's 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 not even debatable. But you got
Man, look.
Give Me My Flowers Where I Can Smell Them. You got A Long Red Hot Summer. You got Miles. Miles, I think, is also a classic body of work. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Other projects as well. Good to Be Home, Color Blue. These are some of my favorite things. But this year alone, you started out with an album called Out the Blue. Then you came with Royal Blue. Then you hooked up with Evidence and came with Los Angeles. Now you got the new album with Exile. So
Yes.
you are on a tear right now, man. You know what I mean? And I
Oh
know,
man,
yeah. Like
we
what
just
what
getting started, man.
yeah. Oh, so that's where I'm gonna go. Just real briefly, because I know others have asked you about this question, but just for the people, like, what is fueling this fire that got you working and how you're working?
Oh
Hmm.
man, to be honest, man, I just have my son, man. My son is 2 now, you know what I mean? I've done probably 10
Yeah,
albums since he was born, you know what I mean? Just having him motivated me so much to just get it up and get it going, you know what I mean?
yeah. Nah, that's beautiful, man. And something like that, that's gonna really, fuel you to make some beautiful stuff, man. You know what I mean?
I
Just can't.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, we in here cooking, man. I'm hella motivated, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt. And one thing I've always appreciated about you also is like a versatility in sound, like and like because you've worked with Exile, Knots, Madlib, Oh No, Flying Lotus, Alchemist. Like, what inspired that, or how did you develop such a versatility in your sound and approach? You know?
I've always wanted all my releases to be different from the previous release. I never wanted to release the same album twice. You know what I mean? Always
Yeah,
try to keep it different. You know,
No
no
doubt.
doubt.
so
No,
I think that's what brought out the diversity in my catalog. It's just me trying to change it up every time. You know what I mean? And not come with the same formula. You know what I mean for another album. You know.
No doubt. Let me ask you something real quick, Blue. It was you was
Yep.
coming up in the game as an MC and also as a producer. How when you as a let's start with a producer. So it's a twofold question. As a producer, who are some of the producers that inspired you, inspired your sound as you was
Oh
trying to
man.
cultivate it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Exile a grip. Exile reminded me of my favorite producers, which were like Dilla, High Tech, Pete Rock, and Premier. You know what I mean? And Exile had that sound. He also had different styles, but he had the cuts with the raw chops, the raw sample chops. You know what I mean? He'll chop down a sample to where you can't recognize it like Premier. You know what I'm saying? And he had the Brazilian chops like Pete Rock, Dilla. You know what I mean? He had the yeah, he man, Exile just had it, and he taught me how to use the MP.
No doubt,
Fire.
no doubt, no
So
doubt. And
those, I would throw Just Blaze up there too. Just Blaze was hella influential too on me. You know what I mean? As far as producers, now I'm into more the old heads. I'm listening to more Dre, more Prince Paul, more DJ Pooh. You know what I mean?
No
Like
no,
more
doubt.
OGs. You know, Egyptian Lover and shit like that.
no doubt, no doubt. Now, you being from the West Coast, you've seen it evolve over time. You know what I'm saying? The East Coast had it on lock for a little bit, then the South. What kind of what kind of wave have you seen? Roz Cos being from the West Coast, and you had Snoopy, you had Dre. How did you fall into that mode of like seeing how the West Coast evolved over time from a lyrical perspective? And do you think that
uh
the West Coast get its due that from a lyrical perspective that the North does, or the East Coast or the South?
Man, I think it's just about opening your eyes, man, and seeing it for what it is. We feel like we do got some of the best lyricism, you know what I'm saying, and always have. So it's like to leave us out, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's like
right, right,
it's like,
right.
Right.
yo, we've been here, giving it our, you know what I'm saying? And but there's highlights, you know what I'm saying, where what I'm saying the West Coast is like more prominent, you know what I mean? I'm feeling that resurgence now, you know what I mean? We had a crazy year. Vince Staples, Schoolboy Q, you know what I mean? Kendrick blowing it up, you know what I'm saying? It got crazy,
Right.
man.
No,
No doubt.
I've seen that as well. And that's why I'm asking you specifically about your sound because I feel that kind of like the West Coast. I'm from the West Coast. I'm from the Bay Area. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I feel like even here we can kind of get boxed into a sound. If you're from LA, they could kind of try to box you into a sound. So I've been telling people like, no, there is a huge range and a diverse, sound bed here that covers a
yeah.
lot of different bases. So it's like I want people to get into your music not only because it's super dope, but just because musically you cover a range of sound that has been here in California, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's been here, man. Yeah, I'm definitely a reflection of what I listen to. You know what I mean? What I'm inspired by. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I'm just reflecting. You know what I mean? The music that I was given. You know what I'm saying? The music that I gravitate to the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that I want to ask. I got one. I'm gonna ask you about your album, but I got one personal question for me about music because, like, I've had people in my family that were jazz heads, right? I'm a hip
Yeah,
hop head, not so much a jazz head, but I want to get into it because I've always had people around me that were kind of like jazz heads, and I
yeah,
gotta know like where do I start at? Like where if I want to get into that. Like because that sound is also part like on an album like Miles. That's part of it. You know what I mean? But Miles Davis, so
yes,
a
sir.
person like me, a
If you
person
want,
like me
you're
that
saying you're
yeah,
saying where do you start if you want to get into jazz?
exactly. Yep.
All right. I'm gonna put it like this, man. It took me 10 years to crack jazz to really know what I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I told this to the homie the other day. He was like, "Yo, man, I still don't understand jazz." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yo, man, it took me studying like all the other musics around me, comparing it, shit like that, to really like know what jazz is. You know what I mean? And now,
Right.
man, that's my favorite genre. I listen to jazz so much. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
want to go there,
I
man.
would say, I would say off top, man, Miles Davis, bro.
Fire.
No doubt. Let me get to the super chat real quick.
Miles Davis will lead you to everybody. Yep.
People tapping
No
in
doubt.
real quick. People tapping in because we got Blue on. My man, Mad Max, friend of the show, says, what do you say? He says, tell Blue I said said his album of the year along with Glow album and his Mars remix is classic. Best new school lyricist since the blog era. No doubt, Mad Max.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
word, word. Come on, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate that. That's
No,
mad love right there.
no doubt,
For
no
sure.
doubt, no doubt. And then my man Free says, what do you say? I got our favorite color and give me my flowers on vinyl. Below the Heavens was big for me.
Mm.
Tell them thanks. Soul Amazing 5 and Jesus Take Fire 2. No doubt, no
Oh,
doubt.
word up, word
Now,
up. Fire, fire
yeah,
picks right.
the Soul Amazings is dope. That's the featured mixtapes, right?
Yo, man, I got 500 features documented through those mixtapes, man. That's
Literally, I know.
500 blue features right there. You know what I mean?
Killing it. He mentioned the Mars remix too. What do he know about the Mars remix, bro? He's a
Mars,
young guy.
Soul Amazing 1 through 13. Check those out, y'all.
Crazy. I mean, you've had an incredible one run just album wise. You've released so many projects. We trying to keep up with what you're doing, Blue. But
Man, I
before
just
you,
released my 20th album, man. Love the Ominous Word, my 20th album.
hip hop got to thank you, man. Not just the pod space, but hip
Oh,
hop got to
man,
thank you, now for real, man. Because
I thank
it's
everybody listening, man, because if they
yeah,
wasn't listening, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be
no,
here, man. You know what I mean?
we
No doubt,
appreciate it. We
no doubt.
want to hear you keep
I got a
going.
question before you cook up, Leo. I got a question for Blue. Now you've been touring for a while. Being from the West Coast, what's one of your favorite cities to perform in, where the vibe is, the people respond to
Um,
you, the vibe is right. You just enjoy performing in that city.
New York. Always love rocking New York. You know what I mean? New York, London, Chicago, Japan. You know what I mean? My
No
my
doubt.
favorite show, my favorite show was my show in South Africa. You know what I mean? I went out there in
Uh,
2011 and it was like 1,000 Africans reciting all my songs. I just was
We was
blown away, bro. You know what I
We was
mean?
just talking about we was just talking about Africa. We was just talking about that. And I really gotta implore people to listen to not just your Africa project with Knots,
Oh
but
yeah, come on.
on Miles. You made a song. It's classic to me. It's called The
Yeah.
Roots of Blue,
Boom
right?
boom. Oh yeah. Good looks. Good
Roots
looks.
of Blue. It had the Sonics, which was incredible. The video wasn't incredible. But the reason why I'm asking this question is because we were talking about this before you got here, and you got
Yeah.
somebody like Trick Daddy, but not just Trick Daddy. You have others that are kind of, for lack of a better word, denouncing being called African American rather than just being called American. So
Uh-huh.
it's very important to me that we maintain our connection with our legacy and roots there in Africa. So for what is the inspiration behind a song like Blue? You know what I mean? I'm like Roots of Blue.
Roots of Blue, man. It came from me trying to go as deep as I can. You know what I mean? Miles deep, I would say, into my soul, you know what I mean, and pull something out. And I pulled out the history of man as I was told it, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I just started from the beginning, you know what I mean? And just to show my roots, you know what I mean? Everybody who inspired my journey, you know what I mean? In
Right.
chronological order, pretty much, you know what I mean?
I caught that. And that's why it was brilliant to me, because there is a chronological kind of order to the historicity of us as a people, not just and us as man, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the second verse is the whole Bible,
I caught that. I caught
from
that.
Adam to Paul, Paul and John to Adam to John. You know what I mean?
I caught that. And that's why on another angle, slightly the same. I think, now we have the good kid in the mad city. I think you was already that. You was already that into where, yeah,
Come on,
you see where I'm
come
going. See
on.
where you was already that, because there is you're from a real place. You know what I mean? Los Angeles. We know what's up with Los Angeles, but you've always had a balance in your music that
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
a lot of people coming from LA, and it's no diss to where they're from because it's real, but they'll lean on a certain, like a gang, they'll lean on that aesthetic musically. You have
yeah. Right,
always,
right.
yeah, you've always kind of had like a balance. How important is it to for the listeners not just to look at LA for the gangster aesthetic, but also realize the other side of that, because LA is a vast place of different lifestyle. You know,
Most definitely, man. Honestly, bro, I'll listen to a lot of East Coast shit coming up. You know what I mean? I was into like lyricism. You know what I mean?
no doubt.
So I was listening to a lot of East Coast shit. My first two tapes was LL Bad and Kumo D How You Like Me Now. Even though my favorite song was Wild Wild West on the tape. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah, at the time coming up, what made me like different from everybody like that I came up around was me listening to East Coast shit, man. Really, you know what I mean? Being very inspired by the East, and uh and I think that's what made me lean on lyricism so much. You know what I mean?
no doubt, no doubt. You like a Ice Cube, like a Ice Cube going with the Bomb Squad. It's West Coast,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
has an
Come
attention
on.
to the lyricism.
Definitely, definitely. Now all I listen to is early '90s West Coast. You know what I mean? '80s, early '80s through night to '95. You know what I mean? West Coast, crazy.
No doubt. Yeah, on this latest album, you're barring up with Crooked Eye or Professor Crooked Eye. You're barring up with Crooked Eye and Corrupt on
Oh
Chucks.
man, come on, man. The Kings,
What?
man. The Kingpin and the King Crooked, man.
That was crazy.
You know what I
That
mean?
was
Top five lyricists on the West Coast. Right there, two of them. You know what I mean?
oh,
No doubt, no
no,
doubt. Let me ask you this: if you got three albums that you can only have, you gonna go to like Mars or something, right? You got three albums
Oh.
to take with you, man. What you taking with you, bro? You know what I'm saying? I know you
Oh
like East
man.
Coast, West Coast. I know you got a lot of influences, but what you gonna take? You can include some of yours as well. What three albums you taking with you?
I'm taking Illmatic, I'm taking a Chronic, and I'm taking the girl from
fire.
Ipanema. You know what I mean? That Stan Getz and Zhao Gilberto. You know what I mean?
N- n-
Fire.
No doubt, no
Oh, yeah.
doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Last question I got for you. I know we give it back to Leroy. Um, let me think about it. Now, you work with several people. You work with Crooked Eye. You know, your working relationship with Exile, Corrupt. You work with a slew of people. Who haven't you worked with that you would love to work with, either dead or alive, that you would make you had an idea for a song that you think would be dope if you could just make one record. You know what I'm saying? Who would you like to work with? You know, it could be somebody dead or
My
alive.
my dream list. Oh, dead or alive. Wow.
All right.
We'll start with alive. Let's start with live because that could happen, but then we could go back and talk about
Right.
who could have
Right.
been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, alive. I would say DJ Premier. You know what I mean? I got to get a DJ Premier joint. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Insanity. Amen.
No,
Wow. I would probably, man, just right now, I would go with ODB, bro. You know what I mean?
Hey, right.
Like
Osiris.
Big L, Big L or ODB, bro.
no doubt, no doubt. You like
Fire.
out of all the Woo, ODB was your favorite out the Woo?
Actually, yeah, man. You know, it's funny you say that. I was saying with the dead or alive, you know, I mean, I would go with Big L or ODB as far as who's transitioned,
Right,
and
right.
and as far as who's alive, I would say DJ Premier. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt, no
That
doubt.
They
That's a good.
premiered Dr. Dre and Dr. Dre. You know what I mean?
that would be crazy. Premiere in blue, that would be crazy. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Or
Come
Dre,
on,
like
Prince.
Dre need to get with you, man, because again, like not only do you have the just being dope, but the experience of you being around rapping, creating these projects for 20 years, you already come in the door with a certain level of experience. And I think
Oh
Dre,
yeah.
he might be
That's
dropping the
hard.
ball, man. Dre dropping the ball, man. We
Yeah,
gotta
you
blow his
never know.
lines
You
up.
never
Somebody
know
put
what
his
lies
number.
in the future. You know what I mean?
No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So Leroy, before we get Blue out of here, man, what's your last few questions for Blue?
I got like two more. I just got two more questions. The last one real easy, but just for me, because you know I don't get to talk to Blue all the time. I got to ask my questions, but
Come on, come
so
on.
Blue, he kind of got me like it's two albums that are fighting each other in my mind, and Blue kind of
Uh,
set it up that way because he dropped "Love the Ominous World" and he dropped "Los Angeles." Now I'm having a conflict of between these two albums battling for my
uh,
list of top albums this year. So
oh yeah.
first off, I would just say "Precipitation" off "Love the Ominous World." That is a beautiful song, my brother.
Oh, good looks, man. Thank you.
That
Thank you, man.
is crazy. But my question is, how was it working with Alchemist again? And what happened to the Lost Angel song, my guy?
Lost Angel, we felt it was a powerful enough song to release separate. You know what I mean? It was just as important as the album alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why we dropped Los Angeles separate, and Los Angeles was a whole vibe, a whole different vibe. You know what I mean?
Mm, no
Yo,
doubt. The Lost Angel video was a really dope video. And I know that there's a film you've wanted to explore film for a while. I
oh
think
yeah,
I
Ev
think
killed
there's
that
a
Los Angeles video.
yeah, I think there's a
Never.
bright future for you over there and behind the camera too, my guy.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, that's what I'm diving in, trying to dive into. I've been saying that for I don't know how long, but I'm still trying to crack it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you got a new son. You know what I mean. That's gonna get you there.
Come
Trust
on, man.
me, that's gonna get you there, my guy. You know what I mean. But just last question. You know, what can we look forward to? Because this year you already been going crazy. So 2025, right around the corner. What can we look forward to, Blue? Mhm.
2025. Expect the same wave as this year, man. You know what I mean? We not stopping. You know what I mean? We dropped four this year. You just might get four next year.
Fire. We looking forward to it, man. We
Why don't you
looking
You know
make
what
it?
I
forward.
Why
mean?
don't you make it? Why don't you make it five, bro? 2025.
You
You did
just
four.
you just
Make it.
make it five next year, man.
Get five. Let's get five of them things, man. Well, yo, man, Blue, we
Oh,
appreciate you hopping on, man. According to hip hop, been following
Yeah.
your movement for a while, man. Shout out to Leroy for setting it up, man. But we'll be tapping in with you soon, brother.
appreciate you guys, man. Have a good one, man. Blessings.
No doubt, man. Peace.
Appreciate you too, man. Hit you right after the show. Thank you, man.
No
Yep,
doubt.
yep.
Yes, sir. Blue, y'all. You see? We working, man. We trying, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we doing our thing, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with this? We got some technical difficulties, but it's all good. It's all
Nah,
good.
you
It's
know,
all
but
good.
you know, that's a major key, man. You know, I've been a Blue fan, so for me, I kind of know a little bit what I'm talking about. But I know there's people out there that may not they don't know like that. You know what I mean? So not only trying to speak to what I know and people like me that are already fans of Blue, but just trying to give people that don't know, some backstory on Blue and his music. Because like I said, he has been on a run this year, and it is impressive and it is dope. You know what I mean? So look for more of that in 2025. I'm gonna be going out there trying to get as many people as I could get to come through, man.
No
So
doubt.
that
And no doubt. It's always good to highlight the lyricists of the West Coast, man. A lot of people don't understand the West, West Coast has always been lyrical, right? It's not been, you don't have a lot of MCs from the West Coast that don't have the ability to really spit. I can't really think of many. There was a couple. I mean, you had
right.
J.O. Felony wasn't that dope, you know what I mean? But
I see what you mean.
most cats from the West Coast actually spit. You know what I'm saying? They can actually rhyme. They put it together in a different way than we were used to hearing on the East Coast or in the South. But they can rap, man. They can rap, man.
No,
And
I mean they could rap, and I see what you're saying. But in blues time and in my time, we're talking about the '90s and stuff like that. Like you had to rap. Like the West Coast wasn't no like. I know that they looked at Snoop as maybe they thought Snoop was the height of lyricism, but the school of where me and Blue come from, kind of like that middle ground between the mainstream and the underground, like dudes was really rapping. Like you had to bar up. It wasn't. It was just as it was just as aggressive lyrically as what you will find on the East Coast too. And that story is rarely ever told. And I just hope that one day people know that about the West. You know what I mean? Like, because that was real. Like the school of thought Razcast comes from, Planet Asia comes from, Blue comes from, Crooked Eye, Corrupt. That's always been here. You know what I mean?
no doubt, no doubt. But yo, man, we on the interview run, man. We had an Akon interview last week. We got Blue. We got the Nappy Roots interview about to drop. So we got, hit us up. I want to get Trick Daddy on so we can have a debate. Not a debate, but we can get his perspective, talk about Miami hip hop, talk about how he came up with, in the game. And also talk about his transition as into podcasts and the radio and cooking and health and all these type of things, man. So now we want to keep on doing it, man. We want to keep on getting some people on, man, and getting it popping. But let's go back to Cordae because Blue tapped in when Cordae came on. I like the Cordae
Right.
joint. You know what I'm saying? And let me just go ahead and just say this. When I was listening to the record, it reminded me of that sound, as you said, of Kanye West, old school Kanye West, the way he approaches music. And out of all the young guys, you know what I'm saying, that make music, now I appreciate what Cordae is doing. You know what I mean? He raps with from a perspective of honesty. He's an honest MC. He's gonna tell you things that's going on personally. Not a lot of fronting going on with him. You know what I'm saying? He might finesse and might brag a little bit, but I mean it comes from it's a realism to Cordae's approach to being an MC. And then hearing Lil Wayne on a couple tracks, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was refreshing. I enjoyed the songs that Lil Wayne was on. He had a couple songs with
No
Honest and
doubt.
Pac. And the hook with Kanye, I thought it was a Kanye West. I thought Kanye West produced the record when I heard it, but Kanye didn't produce it. You know what I mean? So,
No doubt. I mean, the last song too. I'm gonna go back to the album, but the last song with Anderson Pack, that was a really dope song and a really dope beat. It's real quick, like, but he had several dope songs on here from All Alone to Nothing's Promise to Pray with the Lauryn Hill sample. A Saturday Morning again with Wayne going crazy. No Bad News. It really what really matters. That's a dope song. Those are dope songs. But what really caught me and what sometimes could be hard to catch me as a listener is if I put an album on and I can just listen to it and not do nothing else. Just let the whole album run. You know what I mean? Now, when I put the album on, that's what happened. I listened to the whole album straight through, and I had a good time with it. I mean, is he the most lyrical person on earth or the most aggressive person on earth? We're gonna get to some musical aggression with A-Rap music in a second. But when I put the album through and I could listen to it all the way through, I was just feeling it. That lets me know, it was a good album, man. It was a good to me. You know what I mean? So I appreciated it. You know what I mean? Y'all should check that out tomorrow. I'm gonna give you two albums, everybody, for homework tomorrow, but they just came out. But that you should check that out on a Sunday because it sounds like a Sunday. You know what I mean?
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I enjoyed the album, man. I thought it was cool. Um, I thought it was cool,
Yeah.
man. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
So,
it's cool. It's cool. Like I said, Wayne was on there. He got two verses on there going crazy. The hook with Kanye, I felt could have been pulled off a little bit better because I could tell it was kind of like um, whoever moved that around, the placement of the hook or how you put it together, it could have been changed a little bit. But that's a minor critique. The subject matter he's talking about family a lot. He's talking about just his climb, in the music industry or whatever. But there's also a dash of Dilla in there too, which is also present in blues music too. So I did appreciate that. I don't know where I would place it this year. I just heard it yesterday, y'all. Sorry, but I don't know where I would place it this year as far as the rest of the albums. But I enjoyed the album. You know what I mean? And then I put on Dave East. But go ahead. You know what I mean?
Dave East. Let's get into Dave East. Let's get into Dave East. What'd you think of the Dave East project?
Dave East. Now I'm gonna be real. When I listen to a Dave East project, some of them I kind of like, some of them I really don't like. That I'm just keeping it a buck, keeping it 100, right? I put on the Dave East, man, and I was rocking with it. The Dave East album is dope, bro. First of all, I got to give A-Rap Music his props as a producer. He's been around for a very long time, dropping very dope beats. And I don't know if his name ever gets really brought up in the way I'm gonna talk about it now. A-Rap Music did his thing. He went crazy. So the first song, um, Percocet, you know what I mean? He said, I'm living proof I'm living proof. People count you out well, so he's talking about I'm living proof. You can make it even if people count you out. But the beat, fire. Um, Next song, Bet My Life. He talking about getting his second win back as an artist, right? But also there's some keys in there as well. Eating right, living right. He says, a lot of y'all Planet Fitness niggas, y'all forgot about the park. A little jab there, but get right, right? Everybody get back into what you're doing. But the next two songs, Solid Niggas and Bust Down with Fabulous. Bro, when them two songs came on, I had to run both of them songs back multiple times because Extreme Fire, Yoga Flames, them two songs, Solid Niggas with the For the Fam sample from Rockefeller back in the day, the Emil song, but and Bust Down with Fabulous. Listen to them songs tomorrow, y'all. That was fire. A-Rab, I don't know what, A-Rab music was on that night when he made them beats, but he went crazy. So that's fire. Walk with Me, also dope. You know what I mean? He's talking about, sometimes you elevate to a certain position to where you have to leave certain elements behind or leave certain people behind. And this week in particular, and in Jay-Z news, D Haven's been out making his comments, right? I'm not sending shots to nobody. I'm just saying sometimes you when you elevate, you're going to have to leave some people behind. Now people don't understand that. They think it's fake for you to do that, or you're not real if you do that. And I'm not even talking about all the particulars of that particular situation. I'm just saying it was a topic this week, but just in general, so we all know, when you're elevating in life, right, there are certain people that you're going to outgrow. It's just a normal thing. You know what I mean? Now, unless you want to take everybody with you, some of us, we hanging with 40, 50 different people. You want to take everybody with you? Hey, so that song kind of deals with that. You know what I mean? But the next song, Lift 'Em Up, was fire. Midway Point, it was cool. But the song with Ransom, Everything for Sale, with the Dilla again, the Dilla Flames. Dilla flipped that beat in the past. Fire, fire, fire. So I did enjoy that album. The first half of that album was really dope. The second half, it kind of cooled off from there, but that first half is really, really dope. So shout out to Dave East. Like I said, he's like half and half. Some of his projects I do like. Some of his other projects I kind of don't. But he made the right decision with A-Rap Music. You know what I mean? This time. So shout out to him. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, Dave East, Cordae. Check out those albums. That's the homework assignment of the week. Cordae. I know Super Duper in here saying he really don't like, Cordae's voice or whatever. And somebody saying Dave East is Mad Max saying Dave East is washed. Um
Okay, okay.
uh,
I mean, I just listened to the album, y'all. That's all I did. I listened. I said, do I like this? Do I not like it? That's all I did, man. You know what I'm
man,
saying?
we got a new system, y'all, so I can't drop the links in here. Well, we're gonna figure that out, man. We're gonna figure that out one of these days.
Okay.
Hopefully by next week we'll have the links in. But man, it's been an action-packed weekend. Super Duper. You watched the fight last night, Super? You watched the fight What you think about the fight, bro? What you think about the fight, man? I thought the fight was cool. What
But
else is going on in the world of hip hop? What else is going on?
um, MF Doom, if there are any MF Doom fans out here, the 20th anniversary of Food, that's outside. So I was rocking with MF Doom yesterday. That's the thing. So that was fine. If the albums that dropped this week, just in general, where's my damn notes here? I know Big Pun came out earlier this week. You had the Pete Rock that came out earlier this week. I'm just talking about in history, right?
What I
The
mean,
albums that dropped
how
this week.
old was the Big Pun? 20, which one? You talking about Capital Punishment, or you talking about the
Yeah, Capital Punishment. Yeah. Now Capital Punishment came out in
98?
98. 98.
So
So
26 years.
26 years. Yeah. Now, I mean, that is a super classic in my mind. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. Let me find my list of albums first. But that is a super classic. If you're talking about no, okay, so we're gonna talk about the Big Pun. Pete Rock also with the Soul Survivor. Um, Blueprint 2, Jay-Z. Bulletproof Wallets, Ghostface. I know a lot of people didn't like that. And the MF Doom, right? The MF Doom. So first, Big Pun. If y'all have not heard Capital Punishment for the lyrical heads, that is the classic of classics as far as lyricism is concerned, right? So that was a big one. First, Puerto Rican guy to go platinum. What I mean, at least that's what he's rapping on the album. But just the versatility in that album, subject matter wise, topic wise, the lyricism, the beats, because some people consider it a classic, some people do not. In '98, there was a split between really mainstream records, right? The volume twos of the world, and the really lyrical records, the Big Puns of the world. So there's a split right there. So you had listeners picking sides or just listening to both, right? So if you were among the lyrical heads at that time that was really into bars and stuff, when you heard Big Pun, Capital Punishment, you knew you got yourself a classic album. Boomerang is on there, Capital Punishment on there. The song with the whole Terror Squad is on there. Twins is on there. Dream Shatterer, You Ain't a Killer, Beware, the song with Black Thought. Album was incredible, man. So it was good to see that came in. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh, the
that
Chronic 2001 too. That also was out.
Chronic
Pete Rock.
2001 classic.
Yes.
I think the first half of Chronic 2001 was much better than
Right.
the back half. So yeah, I think
Oh, okay, okay,
but I
okay.
think it's overall it's a dope album, but I think it tapers off toward the back
Yeah,
end, which is unfortunate. Pete
I
Rock
hear
and
you.
It's Your Soul Survivor. That song with True Master with Corrupt. Corrupt killed that joint. That's one of my
Come on,
favorite
man.
Pete. That's one of my favorite Pete Rock beats. Da-dum, da-dum,
Come
da-dum,
on, man.
da-dum, dum, da-dum, dum.
Bro.
Inspector Deck killed that joint, and Pete Rock low key had a
Yeah, Pete,
had a dope verse on
bro.
that joint. Pete Rock can
That
rap.
album is crazy. Now, granted, people gonna try to be like, well, Pete Rock ain't one of the best rappers. But again, folks, we're in '98. We're looking at Pete Rock as a producer first that can rap. So we're not looking at him as like he's gonna outbar Method Man or Ghostface or Prodigy on the album. That's not where we're looking at Pete Rock. We're not looking at him like that. We're looking at Pete Rock as a producer first that raps. So that's the lane we put him in. But when that album comes on, the song Just Two with him and CL Smooth, the song with Tragedy Gaddafi and Nori, Strange Fruit, just that album, period. That is a gem. That is an overlooked jewel in hip hop history. That, in my opinion, is a classic album. So check that out if you haven't, heard that before.
No doubt.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. Let's take a like and subscribe break real quick. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you show us some love. We got about 22 people said they like it. We got one person said they love it, and then
Well, that
we got one lone hater. Who could that
okay.
who could it ever be that dislikes it? But the love is the love and the hate is the hate. We love it all and we
No
accept it all.
doubt.
But make sure you hit like and subscribe and tell people to tap in with us. But go ahead, Leroy. What other albums came
No
out
doubt.
in history this week?
We spoke about the Chronic 2001, which I kind of had mixed feelings about. Now, when I first heard it, I'm thinking this is incredible. Don't get me wrong. When I first put ears on Chronic 2001, I'm thinking this must be the most incredible shit that I've heard. Not shit in the bad way, but incredible shit I've heard in a while. Then over the years, some things kind of again, and even when it came out, I heard it so many times out in the street that it could kind of wear off or kind of you can get numb to it. But just the precision in which Dr. Dre does music, right? We hear him go from one sound into another, but the precision and the timing of his music and the beats are just immaculate, right? So that's one of the greatest West Coast albums. Some people like the first half more so than the second. I'm sure there's some that are vice versa. Some like the whole album or whatever. But that is a gem. You had next episode. You got Still Dre. Forgot About You. What's the difference? Y'all know the songs already. But that is a gem of an album right there as well. You know what I mean? And lastly, Blueprint 2. You know what I mean? Now, I've been hearing a lot of people got an issue with Blueprint 2. Y'all know I'm the J head or the Jay-Z fan. So I'll remove my personal opinion is there's enough songs on there to make it a classic. It's not a classic because there are too many songs. But is there classic songs on that album? Yes. I believe if you took all the best songs out of there, then he completed his mission with that album.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think the 2.1 when he consolidated, I think if he would have made just one album, I think
Right.
you got a classic in here. Like, you could I
Mhm.
could have took I would have taken away the bounce. I didn't need the bounce, but I didn't need the bounce.
Right.
I didn't need
Right.
I
Right.
really popping tags. I could have done without popping tags. Popping tags was I could have done without it. I could have done without the one with Sean Paul. What they gonna do?
Right. Right.
I could have done without that. So a dr-
Yes.
a
No
dream is
doubt.
okay, but I mean, Hovey Baby, The Watcher, Bonnie and Clyde, Excuse Me Miss, we keep those. We keep I Did It My Way. I would keep that one. Um
I gotta keep that one.
uh
I-
You Don't Know
That's a
Remix, I'm keeping that one. Somehow, some way, I'm keeping that one. I'm keeping
mm.
I would have added Bees and Sisters. I'm keeping
Bees
that.
and sisters.
I'm
Right.
keeping that. And some people I'm keeping Some People Hate. Some people
Oh yeah. Some people hate crazy, but yeah,
somehow,
some of
some
that
way
I
you
gotta
got
keep.
somehow Meet the Parents. I probably can take that away. Guns
There's
and Ro-
no way I'm taking that away.
uh,
There's
uh,
no way I'm taking the
Guns
art
and
of
Roses.
storytelling. The Guns N' Roses, I got to keep that. The point, if people can understand the point of a song like Guns N' Roses, that is a major jewel of life. Meet the Parents. If people just understand the point behind, because people talk about storytelling a lot in hip hop, but they never say talk about Meet the Parents. And when they do, they're like, it's okay. Like, what is the point of even making a song like Meet the Parents? If people can grasp that, that's a hell of a song, bro. That's a hell of a song. Mind you, what I've always said, with people could agree or not, I think it's two stories going on at the same time. Now, if people can catch the story underneath the story, then you're a detective. But I think it's two stories at once. But all around the world, I gotta keep that. You already mentioned My Way. You already mentioned some people hate a song for a fallen soldier. I got to keep that. A ballad for a fallen soldier. Got to keep that. Excuse Me Miss, that could stay or go, but I'd rather keep that because that has a certain aesthetic at that time. And I think in 2002, that is a club era. And I think that throws a lot of people off. Oh, Diamond is Forever. I got to keep that. Blueprint 2, I got to keep that. But 2002 is a club era. So when people listen to it now, they're like, I can't get with this. Hovey Baby, I got to keep that too. People like I can't get with that. But in 2002, it was about going to the club. Yo. I'm just gonna keep it 100. That's that because right after that came the oh y'all should button up. Well, you only button up if you going someplace. So what started off oh, now we got button up shirts on. Because before that year was we was going to the clubs, like, you know what I mean? So that's just what it was. It had to be like what 97 was like for people that was going to the clubs then. Now I was venturing out to the clubs. I had no business being in the club that young, but I was a little different. You know what I mean? But 2002, that's what it was. So that's what you're hearing. Like, and also I'm from California, right? So I have a different listening experience. We listen in groups. We don't listen to albums by ourselves. Like this is a state where you are with homies a lot of times. You're with a group of friends a lot of times when you do things. So a lot of my album experiences, I was listening in a group. You put the album on the stereo and there's like 10, 15 people there. So you're hearing the reactions of a group, not just yourself. You know what I mean? So in that era, that's what it was. So and but I also think there's power in that too, because I think if you're listening to an album by yourself, you have your own opinion. If you listen to an album with a group, now you're having a bunch of different opinions, and I does think sometimes that's constructive for how you rank an album. So, you know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But yo, we had a lot in history. We got a lot to look forward to this week. I know we get into the holiday season, and we'll have some exclusive things for you to purchase for the holiday. We got some ugly sweaters, we're gonna have some wrapping paper, we're
Right?
gonna have some hats. So we're gonna have our merch store up so you guys can show us love. Get somebody in your family, your kids, your aunt, auntie, uncles, husband, wives, some accordion hip hop merchandise we will have up next week. But yeah, man, we definitely shout out to Blue for coming on and rocking with us. Great Leroy
Shout out
interview,
to
Leroy. We got that. We got Mike and Servano be on tomorrow. We may pull up on Wednesday. Yeah, it's just great, man. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here because I gotta represent my dogs right now. This is
no doubt.
it's do or die tonight. If we don't win this game against Tennessee, we don't make the playoffs. So we gotta do what we gotta do, man. But shout out to everybody in Philly. Shout out to everybody in Atlanta. Shout out on the West Coast, Houston, New York, Miami, wherever you at, man. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Tap in with us. Make sure you show us love or your support goes a long way. We're still trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you like. Show us love. We appreciate y'all. We'll pull up on y'all tomorrow and enjoy the rest of
Cool.
the
Right?
weekend, man.
You want to pull up on them tomorrow? What we do? What we doing?
Oh, not tomorrow. No, we might.
Oh,
Nah, Monday.
next week.
Next week, man. Leroy, what's your final thoughts, brother?
No, my final thoughts is again. Thanks for Blue for coming through. That that was big. You know what I mean, for me, and he was just cool about it. Like just oh yeah, that's nothing. Like just how cool he was about it. I wish I could say that about a bunch of other artists, but it's not a shot because artists are busy too. So if a lot of them can't make it, it's not like I'm throwing a shot. These people have careers that they're also tended to, but I just want to say 2025, man, and this year's not over too. We still gonna bring it, but just look forward to like us really bringing it, man. You know what I mean? Not only do I speak to the mainstream situations in hip hop, but we speak to the politics of the game. We speak to the culture, and we speak to the music that's not the big three all the time. And again, no shots. We just are going to try to cover as much as we could cover. You know what I mean? That's all. So look forward to more of that. And we're gonna keep it moving, man. Appreciate y'all for being here, man. The ones that
And
are
a
and the
little
ones
word
that
of
tune
wisdom.
in tomorrow,
And
y'all
a little
good.
word of wisdom for the haters that take their time out of their day to tell you that they hate you. You actually make the person that you hate win. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the love. Love comes in all
All
forms, man. But anyway, hit like and subscribe. Appreciate you, man. According to hip hop.
right.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace, y'all.